All right, I think we're ready. Good morning, Al Ingalls here at pressure-free.com. When my kids were little, I would take them to the chiropractor. I have some scoliosis and I wanted to have some preventative work on them so that they didn't have it as bad as I did. And they learned about forward head syndrome from the chiropractor, where somebody's head is forward and down and all the pressure that that puts on the spine. Our head is like a bowling ball, that's what the chiropractor told them. And when you're leaning forward and down, it puts an enormous amount of pressure on our spine, but it also closes off our airway passages. So it's kind of interesting to know that. And I remember how I'd be taking the kids to school and we would pass by some workplaces in Battle Creek. And as we watch, we'd have to stop for people to walk across the street, going into their building in one of them. And 9 out of 10 people were walking with their heads down. My kids would note it. They go, forward head syndrome, forward head syndrome. Right. It would be very rare to see somebody actually walking with their head up. Their heads were down, they were carrying their briefcases or their messenger bags. And they're rather miserable, to be honest, walking into work. And my kids noted all that, which was, I think, pretty interesting. Yesterday, I talked about posture, and I have a theory. And I said I actually want to do experiments on it. And someone already chimed in and said they want to be a part of it. But, that was before cell phones when I was taking my kids, and all these people had forward head syndrome. Now we add this into the picture. And everywhere I go, I see people over their phones or over their laptops or over their iPads. So yesterday I talked about how posture is one of the it's the number two tool in pressure-free living. Because when your body is up, when your head is up, it's impossible to feel depressed, anxious, sad. Like you're actually counteracting various emotions just by using your body posture. When your head is down, when you're in your shoulders will go up and you'll go into a C curve with your spine, it's very easy to feel negative emotions. That's why you'll see people who everything's going great and then all of a sudden something happens and they coil up, they go tight. And so this is now putting us in that position so much of our days and so much of our time. That got me thinking, is it not social media causing all this, but actually the posture we're in as we're consuming things on our phone? Is it because of the posture we're in that there's so much anxiety today? Is that a cause of it? And so I just can't stop thinking about this. And going back to that idea of forward head syndrome and the pressure it's putting on the neck, is I would say probably 80% of my clients, when I ask them where they hold tension in their bodies, you can ask yourself, like, where am I holding tension in my body? Most of them will go right here, like upper back, the shoulders. There's just a lot of tension there. Jaw, so grinding. Do you need a mouth guard? Are you grinding your teeth? Do you clench? That's a place we'll hold tension. The shoulders, people will hold tension in their chest, so we're tightening here. They'll hold it in their belly. So all of those tightenings, right? They put us in that more negative posture. So when you can open and release, that's just a game changer. So thinking about some phrases about how we talk about the head, and one of them, a few of them, here's one. One is keep your head down. That, you want to keep your focus, so keep your head down. Another is nose to the grindstone. I was thinking I would love to see what are the what's the history of those phrases? Is it to keep people working in the factory, like keep your head down, nose to the grindstone? If you don't know what a grindstone is a great big stone that's grinding in a mill. It's grinding wheat or corn. There's two stones usually, and they're grinding, and there's something pulling it, whether that's a windmill in water or horses or oxen. Something's going around and around to grind all this. So nose to the grindstone, like you're paying attention. Um, But if you're in that position, that's going to change the framing of your neurological thoughts, like how your emotions, your thoughts. When I'm working with athletes, when I was working with my violin students, it was always head up. Keep your head up. Keep your eyes out. Keep watching. A lot of times I'd have track students and their head would be down when they're running. That's putting so much pressure on their airway. They're not getting all the air they could. And it's also just like putting all that pressure on their spine too. So head up, and now you can see what's in front of you. Yes, your eyes are looking at the ground so you don't trip over a root, right? Same thing with hockey players, the head up. You've got to know the feel of the puck on your stick instead of head down and watching it. You got to keep your head up because you need to see what's happening on the ice and where defense people are coming at you. So you got to have that. Um, so those phrases. Another one is in church, like bow your heads. I always had this resistance from the time I was a little girl. I didn't feel like I should bow my head because I felt like bowing my head disconnected me from God. I'm just gonna share like that action of going like this, I felt like I was supposed to be like this to be connected, which makes sense when you think about how the body's designed. So I would have resistance and sometimes I wouldn't. I'd just close my eyes to pray. I would just stay upright. I wouldn't bow my head. Um, I have a little resistance when people tell me to do things. That's why in my coaching, I make suggestions. I don't ever like say, do this, do that. I make suggestions for people um, to avoid that resistance. Let's talk about the airway passages for a moment. So most of my clients too, when they first come to me, they're chest breathers, or maybe both belly and chest. Very few are fully belly breathers. Sometimes the singers are, or people who've played wind instruments, but most people are breathing only from their chest and not their belly. Now, if you have your head down, you're choking off more ability to bring air in. So that's even less oxygen and it's less CO2 and toxins leaving your body. So when you can really open up here and relax all of this, then relax your belly, you can really go into deep breathing. One pressure-free tool. So posture's like the second out of all these 50 tools I teach. Posture's second and breathing is third. You've probably heard people say, oh, just breathe or take a long breath. But if we've already triggered the stress response, it's very hard to take a long, slow breath. You're already jacked up on adrenaline. So a long breath, I used to think, well, that's got to be a long breath. It's not even, I don't know if it's a whole full second, right? It's just like, it's not long at all. So in order for that to really take place, first of all, start your breath the moment you notice the stimulus, the moment you notice your heart starting to rise up a little bit, right in that window. It's one of the greatest tools to get your heart rate lowered. A lot of people come to me and they can feel their heart racing. So start the breath in that 10-second window. And I have people breathe out first. So breathe out first and tighten your abs a little bit. Now breathe in and breathe in like you're filling up a gas tank through your nose. So your abdomen is like 360 expanding, and then it fills up all the way up. And then out, tighten your abs, like push it all out. Relax your abs and breathe in. So if you do that a few times, you can get your heart rate to settle back into a resting heart rate if it's jacked up too high. I have my athletes, especially those who are doing short shifts on basketball courts, March Madness, um, they're sprinters, and any athlete with you're doing something really short and fast. Volleyball, I've coached a lot of volleyball players. When you hear the whistle blow, um, that is the signal to slow the heart rate because your heart rate's getting really high. And if it gets too high, now you're going to be jittery. Now your shot's going to be off. You're going to miss your layup even. You'll miss your free throws. You'll miss things because you're just slightly uncoordinated, your eyesight is off, and your hearing is off. You won't hear instructions from the coach or even hear your teammates on the court or on the ice or wherever you are on the field. So getting into the sweet spot of the athletic heart rate where you don't trigger too high is so critical. Starting pistols in races can cause you to trigger fight or flight. That's why you hit the wall. Even in a short race, you'll hit the wall. I had a client who was a sprinter in high school and also ran the last leg of the 4x100 and realized that he got a better time always in that last leg of the 400 than actually doing his 100 race. And that was because he figured it out. It's like when I shared about the starting pistol, it's like, oh, the last leg, like I'm not paying attention to the starting pistol. So that jolt was actually having him like hit the wall about two-thirds of the way through the race. Like he'd start slowing up, but not slowing up when he ran the last leg. I think that was really fascinating. So back to this idea of posture and the posture you're in before meetings, before events, before interviews. I'll see people in a hallway before an interview and they're all in like a slumped position. And they're all on their phones, right? So is this posture the culprit rather than the actual content? I think that is something worth exploring. And I'm not sure what the answer is until like my son keeps talking about the glasses where we'll actually be seeing it right in glasses, right? But or chips, but getting this up, where does this have to be? Where does your laptop have to be for you to be in the best spot? Those are things I think we can make changes there. What position is your body in when you're reading a text? Sometimes we really misinterpret texts. And again, is it because we're in this posture? So we're apt to look at the text and any sort of pieces of the text that might cause us some worry or nervousness, or misunderstanding, then we're definitely going into fight or flight. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put some sort of experiment together, but if I was in academia, I certainly would, because I think this could really be one of the reasons why we're seeing such a high level of anxiety in people today. It's actually how we're holding our bodies, and just a little bit of change, I don't know, might make a big difference. So I wish you a fabulous, great, pressure-free day. Bye.